Hi everyone, it's Judy. Welcome back to Rose Lane. Today I'm going to be working or beginning to work on another project as I'm finishing off the other one. I take too many commitments. I gotta take it easy. I have a hard time saying no. But today I'm doing or starting to do a kind of a folio, just a small one for Christy at Everlasting Journals. And these are two of her paper kits that I am using. And I will put a link to that in the description box below. So without further ado, I did start cutting. I'm using file folders, just plain old dollar store file folders for the folio. And I'm going to try my hand at kind of cutting things apart and collaging them back together. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. In any case, I did start cutting the pieces for the file folders, only because I never have a plan. I never have a pattern. So as I start doing them, I'm like, well, what can I do here? What can I do there? Oh my gosh, I got to make the margins wider. And yes, I've got that funky sweater on again. We try to roll my sleeves up. At least it won't be so offensive. All right, let's get this up here. Should have thought of that before. Okay, that should help. All right, you may hear my husband and my brother-in-law cheering every now and then. They're watching golf up there. So, nonetheless. Anyway, so this is what I started with. And I am going to try to keep them in order. Okay, so what I started with was the base. Okay, these over here. And I may be guessing at how I meant to put this together as I go along, but we'll see. So this was just file folder, okay? Just, that's the edge of the file folder. I use the, on one side, I use the little vents, the little score lines, to do a margin, okay? To do a spine. And that being said, like on my B folio, you've got this little thing that wants to pop, pop out. So I cut a piece out of the scraps, and that's going to go in here. Okay, so this is 8.5 inches high, and ultimately from here to here, okay, is going to be 6 inches. Okay, so this is part of the spine, and this is a flap for another piece. So that is 6 inches by 8.5 inches. Okay, so that will be the size of it when it is complete, the basic overall size. So we're going to try to put this together as I go. I may start putting some papers on. Actually, let me show you the papers first. This was one of the kits, and I believe the kits, and I started trimming some of the pages because my printers print with the white border. I wish they didn't, because it would allow me to do things a little larger sometimes. But I always have to scale things down because of that white border. But nonetheless, one of them is kit number 19 and one is number 9. Now, which one was which, I can't remember, but one is 19 and one is 9. So we have these beautiful, beautiful pages. Okay, let me turn this one this way only because this one is horizontal. Okay. This one is collage. The writing goes this way, but the swan goes that way. And I'm probably going to end up like tearing these apart and putting them back together in different ways and places. And then also in this kit is these, let me try to turn this again. Some of these invoices like this. This was also a type of invoice, and she has these pictures over it, which I will cut out. This was a misprint. You can tell it gives me a misprint every now and then. And it was a little darker, so I did it on my other computer, on my other printer, and it just depends. Inkjets, laser jets, HPs, Epsons, colors are, sometimes they vary. So so when I reprinted it, I printed it a little lighter, though I saved this from the other printer because, who knows. So I have that. me put that over here. And then this is the other one, which I think I've got all these pretty much cut down. So let me make sure that I am, oh good, I'm in frame, okay. So these are these pretty like whole piece wallpapers. Now this may be from that as well, from this other kit. I'll put that over there because it looks like it matches that one. And it looks like I printed two, that this way, because everything wants to fall over there. Maybe not two, but I have this one and the blue. And then there's this with the pink and blue, which I think actually goes this way because of the flowers. And this one goes this way, like that. And then there's this one. So it's a lot of pink and blue. It looks like I printed two of those. And then there's this. I'm liking this piece. It's a pretty piece down there. What I'm going to do, obviously I printed two of those too. Wow, I must have printed three of those. And I didn't cut off part of the border down here. And then there's this one again. So I have three of those as well. So I did print extras because sometimes, you know, you never know what you're going to do. I might put it in as a background paper. I might use part of it as a tag. These may be borders, you know, I don't know, because I'm just kind of working at this stuff, trying to do some of this. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this reinforced piece or reinforcement piece, and I'm just going to go ahead and glue it down here. Now, there's no reason for that to be inked, so I'm not going to. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this in here. And all I may do right now is just show you how to put this together. Well, how I'm putting it together. Because I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing. You hear that a lot from me, don't you? I don't really know. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I just kind of do it as I go. And I mean, you know, everybody does to some degree, but, you know, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm a little less prepared than I should be. So just go over this part. That should be good. Put that there. And this is cut just slightly narrower than the inch wide that the spine is, to make sure that it will clear. It's just a hair shorter, which is fine, because it all gets covered. So we're going to do that. Okay. Now, while that's setting, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to ink these pieces. Now, you'll see where they'll all go. I should have probably inked them before, to not take the time now, but I am going to go ahead and do that. And I know I'm going to get these little bits, but these are all going to be covered. So if I make these smears on anything on this, doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. Okay. So we'll go here. Now these I scored, but I did not fold yet. So I'm going to go ahead and fold where I need it inked. Okay. And we have that one. Let's put that to the side. You see, they smear. They don't come off. All right, I'm going to fold this one as well. I'm not worried about burnishing it yet, just as long as I've got the fold taken care of with the ink. So I hope everybody's having a good day. This, I am filming ahead with this, but you should see it this Saturday, which is, I wish I had a calendar, but I have cement walls. It's very hard to hang anything up. Let's see, today is the 9th. So I think it's the 9th. Might be the 8th. It is the 8th. Oh my goodness. Yeah, okay. And goodness. So that's the 15th, right? That would be the 15th of July, I think is the Saturday this should go up. So, that being said, in the interim, I hope to be working on, putting together another video that will go up as well. And of course, my videos for the Take Me Back Memories of the Meadow will also be going up in between. This one I didn't get very well over here. Let's just get that a little more. Okay. That one there. Okay. Itchy nose. Alrighty. These don't have to be pretty. I'm just getting rid of the edges because hopefully I'll have the paper as close to the edges as possible. I'm notorious for not cutting things very straight, so I do envy those lovely crafters who can just boop, 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 and everything looks so perfect. I'm like, I want to do that. I guess it's just not for me, but all the love is there nonetheless. All the love and a little piece of my heart that goes into everything. So, okay. Yep, good. That one's good. I didn't realize I had so many pieces here. My goodness. So, anyhow, I've got my little measurements on here. This ends up being 5 3/4, and I'll show you that in a minute because of how they're going to flip-flop back and forth. So, it's been hot. We've been having a little bit of rain on and off. And I'll tell you, I don't know if I mentioned this, one of my last videos. It was June 16th or something. So I may have, I may not have, I don't know, mentioned it. But I actually have to go in here on this one, I think. Let me get this too, because I think that might show. I think it might. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning or 6:15 in the morning, and I was still asleep. It was a Saturday, I believe. Pretty sure it was a Saturday. My husband was up already. It's about 6:15. I wasn't. And I was soundly sleeping at this particular point. And all of a sudden, I was woken up by this, like, explosion. And, okay, good. And, I, sat bolt upright in bed. And I'm like, what in the world is that? I thought our furnace exploded. I really did. And the entire house was shaking. And for several seconds, I would say probably a good 10 seconds, and I could hear the roar and feel the house shaking. And then I'm thinking, my gosh, I don't think it's the furnace. What is this, a tornado? Are we having an earthquake? What is going on? My husband happened to be outside. He goes out in the morning with his coffee and looks for the bunnies and the birds and all that kind of stuff because, they're all just woken up. And it hadn't actually started to rain yet. It was threatening, but it hadn't started to rain. And all of a sudden, peaceful, quiet, no noise at all. And this bolt of lightning, he said, just went right across the sky. And instantaneously, the thunder at the same time. He said it was that close. And it shook the entire house. And because of the thunder happening, at the same time as the flash of lightning, I never noticed the lightning. I just was woken up by the sound. And so I'm sitting there, wondering what's going on. And I get a text. It's my neighbor next door. She goes, "What was that? Was that an airplane? What was that?" And she sent it to my husband and myself, as well. And we're both answering her. And my husband said, no, it was thunder. And it just kept reverberating. The sound just kept reverberating and it kept shaking the house. It was just downright really downright scary. I don't know why I didn't do this, but let me go ahead and do this. It was really frightening. So that was a fun experience, but I spent the rest of the day feeling ill because me and adrenaline, we don't mix. I like everything calm and slow. And to be woken up like that, I got this adrenaline rush, and I was sick to my stomach most of the day. Oh my goodness. So, excuse me. I think I brought water down, but it's over on the other table where my computers are, or my printers are rather. So yeah, that was a pretty frightening experience. I'll tell you. I have never experienced anything like that. And she said the same thing. She said, I never had that happen before. I was like, yeah, it scared me. She goes, it scared me too. So thankfully, she's got a little kind of, I don't know, cockapoo or shih tzu or something like that, little tiny dog. But she's older and she's kind of almost blind and completely deaf. So fortunately, I don't think the dog was scared. But she's a little cutie, little white dog, and her name is, she calls her Izzy. Her name is Isabel. Now, I'm partial to that name, of course. So, because I had a dog named Isabel, and I happen to like the name Isabel. So, yeah. So, anyway, but we had, when I was working in the Bronx, in New York, not a whole lot of birds around in the Bronx, and you get a lot of pigeons and you get some sparrows, and that's pretty much about it. But we had a gray dove, a mourning dove, that would come into the yard, and she would sit in the tree, and she'd let you get pretty close to her, which was surprising. And I named her Isabella. That was before I had my dog Isabel. She came with that name, so yeah. She was kind of my rescue dog, but my husband would differ with that because she was my in-laws' dog. And I think I probably have said this somewhere in one of my other videos. I don't remember what I say when, or if I said it, you know, out loud. But they were getting older. They bred Labradors. They were breeders, and they were getting older. They were starting to, you know, get into their late 70s at that point. They're in their mid to late 80s now, and they had this dog, Isabel, and she was having puppies, and something happened, and something went wrong, and her uterus split, and I think I'm okay with that. But I'm going to go ahead and ink it anyway, just because I really don't know what will show and what won't show. And so they lost all the puppies, sadly, and of course then she was not going to be able to have puppies anymore either. Now, my husband and his siblings have been trying to convince my in-laws to stop breeding dogs because they were just getting too old. It was too hard for them to be doing anything like that. So they were trying to get them to stop. And I really do want to have that piece on the inside. But let's just go ahead, just in case anything shows, but I don't think anything will, because I'm going to do a lot of collaging and probably cover a lot of these things. So these have to go this way. Okay. And so anyway, she was looking for a home for Isabel, and she couldn't find one. She had asked my sister-in-law, but she had too many animals at the time, and she really couldn't take on another one, and all this kind of stuff. So my husband asked, you know, have you found, and he was in front of me, have you found a home for Isabel yet? And she said no, she hadn't. And I said, looked at my husband, I said, we're taking her. And he's like, what? I said, we're taking her. He's like, what do you mean we're taking her? Like, we're taking her. So yeah, so that's what ended up happening there. So that's how we got Isabel, because I couldn't stand the thought that, you know, she wasn't finding a home. Okay, this is not what I wanted. You have to go this way, and then this one Now this is where it gets funny, because, yep, that's the one. This is going to be the front cover, but I want 3 down here. Let me get the right ones. This is the large one, yes, and these are the smaller ones. So this is going to actually go like this, okay? And I've got some space in here, not in this one, but I do in this one because I'm going to have more flaps on the inside. So let's start by putting these pieces together, okay? I have one that is at a 1/4 inch and one that is at 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so let me try to get that folded. Okay, there we go. Let me get my bone folder here. Okay, and do this one. Okay, so this one is going to go in here like this. Okay, this is going to be the outside. Okay, it's going to flip this way, and then when you open it, it's going to flip this way. So all I need to do, and I'm going to do it with the art glitter glue. I'm hoping I won't regret this. And put the art glitter glue just on this first tab, this first 1/8 of an inch tab, and I want a good amount of glue. Okay, I'm gonna try to get this rather equally distributed. All right, so that looks good there, but now I've got to get it on that line. And for me, that's hard to see. Apparently, when you get a lot of art glitter glue on here, you do have a quick second to move things. You can move things about. The littlest, tiniest bit. All right, I still have to go in. What I should do for me is draw a line like this so I can see where I need to line that up. It would make it a lot easier. Okay, so this one's gonna go in like that. Okay, and then that's that seam. And then this is this one. So it makes just this little bit, I think you can see that, of a gap in here, okay? And then this one is gonna go this way, same idea. It's gonna make a slightly bigger gap so it gives me room to put some bulk in there, okay? So let's just open that one back up. Let me put the glue, you can see it a little bit better, I think, on this flap because it's twice as big. I'm gonna go ahead, put the glue there. Okay, and what I'm gonna try to do is line this up with this one as best as I can. All right, I do have to bring it out this way. Sorry, I'm tipping it towards me only so I can see it a little better. All right, and that's gotta go. There. That should be all right. Now, let me get this where I need it. This one is tipping. And I don't want it to tip. So you gotta line those up. All right. And then get that down where it belongs. Alrighty. Do I have it in the right place? I believe I do. I believe I do. Hope I do. If they are that far off, I will trim them, but I think we'll be okay. Yeah, we should be okay with that, I believe. All right, so that gives us some room. Okay, now I'm gonna leave this to the side, let that set, and we'll work on this part. Okay, now because this part is gonna be on the front cover, I wanna glue that there first, and then we'll glue this flap over it, okay? So we're gonna take this one, and just put that to the side for a quick minute. We're gonna put the glue on. See, the second I take it away, guys. The second I take it away. Okay, we want it on the inside. All right, let's do it here. We want it here. Okay. Now I filled up my other glue, but I did not fill this one up. It's getting to be time, I think. I have about maybe 1/3 of a bottle in here. I mean, there's plenty in here to even do, I think, the entire project that I'm doing here right now, but, okay. So now this is what I need to do here, is decide where I want it, trying to get it as even as I can. Well, that's a little too low, so let's move that up. There we go. Okay, and then we're gonna just glue that there. Okay, so now that makes this flap. Okay, and I don't want to use it too much because, you know. This one now is going to go over that this way. All right. So I'm just going to leave it in there. I'm going to put the glue on here, and then we'll slide it back into place. This one will be a little bit easier, I think, because it matches top and bottom. I don't have to try to like center it against something else because it's not the same size, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's open that one up, and then we're gonna take this one, and I just knocked that piece on the floor over here, and let's get this even there. I believe that should be okay. All right, so that one is still opening this way. We have that, and that one goes inside. Okay, so this one opens like that. When you flip this, this one is gonna open like that. Okay, now I'm gonna do the other side, which I don't think I meant to do this on the back, but I may. You know what, I'll do it. I'll do it, because, you know, why not? Why not? So we're gonna go ahead and put that one back here. Is that the right thing? No, that goes on the inside. This is the one that goes on the back. Yep, there we go, because that one's a little smaller. Okay, go ahead and put the glue in here. So I think these flaps, I made them 5 3/4 wide, or maybe it was less. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm gonna try to bring this in and line it up about as equal as I can. Shift you over just a little bit. There we go. It's oozing out. All right, so we do have one on the back. Okay, probably not going to do too much with that. I don't know. And then we're going to go ahead, open this up, and this one's going to go here like so. So we've sandwiched this one between these two longer ones. Okay, so that makes the spines nice and stiff, pretty secure, and they're going to be covered with, with paper, which I'll probably go right over. So we'll see, since I'm not really sure exactly how I'm going to use the paper, but I am going to try and see what I think. It's going to mean finding books with book page and maybe some music paper or something. I don't know. We'll have to see. So this one is going to go here like so. Okay. So let me bring this down. Match the edge, top and bottom, and this way. Okay. And put that on like so. Alrighty. That goes in like that. Okay. So this is what we have with this, and this is just giving us room to basically stuff the insides. So, okay, so we have that like so. This is very similar, that setup, to how I did the bee journal, okay? And then we're going to take this one, which is the two flaps that are going to flap this way, okay? And this one has to go like that, so that's going to be interesting. Actually, yeah, it has to go like that. And we're going to glue this piece onto this flap, okay? So, and let me show you. Here's the line to here. That's where I'm gluing, okay? That is what I'm going to glue. Alrighty. Now, I'm sure this one is not going to be quite as complicated as that bee journal. At least I hope not. Because that was one of those things, like I said, I made it up as I went. And I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I am trying to get it centered and back onto the hinge where it belongs. Okay. So that is that. That's pretty good. Okay. So we're going to press that down. And that is what we have so far. Okay. So this is the construction of it at this point. Close up my glue here. Oh, I should close up my other one. Okay. And, okay. So this is what we have. This is going to open like this, and then we have these flaps here like that. Okay, that's not saying that I'm not going to be putting flaps or something on here. Who knows, okay? Then this one closes back, and then this opens like so. We have this and this, okay? Then this opens this way. We'll have these flaps, and then these will open this way and this way. Okay, I'm not sure if that's all in frame or not. We have that, and then when we close that, we have that. Okay, so that is what we have so far. Let me see what the time is. All right. I think perhaps what we might want to try to do is to start thinking about what we would want the cover to look like. So I'm thinking I don't know. I think I like this. So this is going to be fun because I'm going to glue things down and then try to cut things off, at least where I can. Okay. Obviously I can't do that here. So what do I want to do? Maybe I will wrap this. Sorry about that. I'm thinking perhaps I will wrap this around this piece. I'm only bringing it over maybe, a 1/4 of an inch past the fold line. Okay. And that is going to be for here. Well, I'm trying to think now, because I've got this shorter. That's okay. I can do this. Okay, I can do it. I can do this way. Yeah, okay. I'm going to do it from here. All right, so I'm going to do some marking. Try to bring this right to the edge. And I'm going to bring this over about 1/4 of an inch or 3/16 of an inch. Okay, let me get my cutter up here. And actually, before I get my cutter up here, try to put it here, make sure I don't knock anything over. Let me get my mark for where I want to trim it for here. Okay. All right, I'm going to do that part first. Give myself a wider piece here on the bottom to work with. Perhaps for a pocket or something elsewhere. Okay, let me put that here. Then we're going to go over to this one and get this mark. Okay, and let's hope I did this correctly. Let's hope. All right, let's put this down here. Oh my gosh, I wonder if I'm ever going to get this place cleaned up. I don't know. I don't know. All right, somehow I still managed to cut it just a wee bit shorter, but it does go over. So let's ink this part. Okay. And I'm not worried about this edge because it's going to be covered. Okay. What I want to try to do first is get the whole piece covered, and then I'll add whatever, pretty much, I'll add whatever I need to, this is really long. Add whatever I need to, really try to take this off the table this way a little bit. And we'll put that one here, because I just want to start by lining this up and getting that in the right place. Okay. I am crooked somewhere. I am always crooked somewhere. All right. Bring you just a little that way and a little that way and a little that way. And I'm going to get this started. I'll get it started first, and then I'll go back and lift it from the other side and glue it down, because I think for me that will be the better deal. Okay. All right. It's amazing how after 3.5 years there's still so much to learn. And you know, I don't get to do this as often as I'd like. I wish I had the ability, like some, to put up a video every day, or at least, you know, regularly, you know, 3 or maybe even 4 times a week, but I just am not at that point in my life yet that I can do that. So there might be a little trimming needed on the other side of this when I flip it back, but that's all right. Because I feel like I might be over this edge just a little bit. So yeah, so you can see, but I'll trim that with a knife or the scissors or whatever as I go. So now I'm going to open this side up, because now I want to bring this over this way. Okay, let's make sure that's good and down before I start playing with it on this side. So I will go maybe just another 5 minutes or so. It's just a beginning, getting these things, you know, started to glue down. And again, like the rest of this, this will be kind of a process. I'll probably work maybe a little bit on it off camera, but I'm going to try to turn the camera on every time I work, unless I think I'm here for 10 minutes, you know, which happens to me sometimes, that I only get about 10 minutes to sit, you know, glue one piece of paper down. It's not very exciting to do a video with just, you know, gluing one piece of paper down, or, you know, cutting a couple pieces. You want some kind of meat in the video. So, and like I said, sometimes that's all I get is 5 minutes here or 10 minutes there. I might get a whole hour, but I'm up and down because, you know, the laundry has to be done, or, you know, somebody is trying to reach me and they call my husband because I've got my phone on airplane mode if I'm doing video. So, you know, or if they, you know, they do reach me and interrupt me. And I got a phone call the other day, trying to remember what day it was. I can't remember, you know, they all run together. From a very old friend of ours who had moved south, and his wife is very, very ill, has a very rare disease, and it's really taking a toll on both of them. And I believe he just turned 70 last year, and she is, I don't believe she's as old as he is. That sounded terrible. She's younger than he is, I believe. And whoops. And but it's really, it takes a toll on them, and both of them. She's lost her sight. She can't really walk. It's some sort of a rare genetic disease, and yeah, they're having a time of it. But he is a talker, and you know what? It was 4th of July. That's what day it was, and because I stayed home to get some things done and to work down here, but to get some other office work and some housework done, because though our church was closed as far as employees being in, we do have a feeding program, and my husband went down to take care of that, and he did a barbecue out of our parking lot for our regular people who come in. And he said anybody who walks down the sidewalk, they're welcome. Welcome to have a hamburger and some coleslaw. I think he had coleslaw, and he was making cheeseburgers. And so that the feeding program would still happen on Tuesday in spite of the holiday. So I was home, but our friend had called him, and you know, my husband said, you know, at the grill I'm doing our feeding program. And he said, well, I really wanted to talk to Judy. I had a question for her. It was a pastoral kind of question. And because even after all these years, he, when we first met, of course, we were not pastors, but when we became pastors, he took us on as his pastors. So he will, you know, come to us with pastoral questions, etc. And so he had a question about something that was bothering him. And yeah, so he called. I was in the middle. I had finally gotten a chance to sit down and, you know, like relax. And I was in the middle of, sure I'm folding this. Hang on a minute, guys. This is terrible. Okay, this goes this way. Here we go. I got it. I had finally gotten a chance to sit down and do. My thumb is bothering me, so I'm just trying to crease this without putting too much pressure on it. And I was starting to, you know, play with some of the things that I have on my list of things to do. And I have to show you this. I made myself this because this stuff eats me up. This is just a little by the way. I don't know if you can see this. I'm gonna actually, because I have a list of stuff here, so I don't want you to see that. But I made myself this list. Can you see this? It says my I don't have to feel guilty about it anymore list. That's what I call my to-do list now, okay? Because once I check it off, it's done, and I don't have to feel guilty about it anymore. So that's what I named my my new to-do list. So I'm trying to get back to the page where I have all my stuff printed, but I'll find that later. But yeah, because once I get to check that off, then I try to keep this stuff in my head, and it doesn't stay. So, but anyway, so I had come down here and I was trying to get some of this stuff done and pulled together, and he called, and oh my goodness, 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. I said very little. He did most of the talking, about, I'd say 98%, 98, 99, maybe even percent of the talking he did. Just totally knocked everything out of my head. My whole rhythm that I had gotten going, I had just, you know, been sitting for maybe about, oh, I don't know, 45 minutes or so down here trying to pull things together. And yeah, I was like, so my husband came home. I said, that was it? He called, it was all gone. The whole afternoon was just gone. So I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, so I'm wondering, what I like. How pretty would that be? The swan is just so pretty, isn't it? Let me find the others here. Trying to decide what I think I would want to do on the cover.